Good morning, everyone. I'm Megan Jennings, and welcome to SWAF. So excited to be here today and to see you all virtually as attendees, and excited for our panelists to join us today. I am here as one of the co-leaders of the Connecting Wildlands and Communities project. You'll see my colleague Becca Lewison throughout the day helping to moderate panels. She is my co-leader of the project. And we're just here today and really excited to be able to share with you a little bit about the work we've been doing in Southern California that we hope we can hold up as a model of climate adaptation science in service of advancing this work, innovating and moving forward, and advancing how we can be more successful in climate adaptation across the Southwest. So a little bit about the Connecting Wildlands and Communities project. You'll hear me say CWC throughout the day. It's less of a mouthful. And I will give a nod to our Boogie Wonderland intro. I said when we got this grant, if we got it, we would pick an Earth, Wind, and Fire song to kick us off, because that is part of what we're focused on in this project. And you'll hear more about that throughout the day. We'll have a panel on fire and water and climate change and our natural landscapes. So the Connecting Wildlands and Communities project was funded by the California Strategic Growth Council's Climate Change Research Program. And this is part of the California Climate Investments funding that comes from our cap and trade dollars here in California. And really how we came to this project is I'm a conservation scientist, I'm a wildlife biologist by training. And in some of the work that we were doing, we felt like we were having these conversations, but we were preaching to the choir, and there were still things that weren't getting done. There were still challenges to be dealt with. There were barriers to overcome. And so we realized that, we were having really important conversations, but there were additional conversations we needed to be having. We needed to be branching out and talking to different people, not having the same conversations, but having different ones, and perhaps having more challenging ones, ones where we were stepping out of our comfort zone and having to rely on the expertise of others to be able to communicate science and our needs for climate adaptation in the Southern California region more effectively. And that's really what CWC is all about, and that's what today is about. It's not necessarily about what we're doing specifically in Southern California, but about how this work, how this coordination, collaboration, co-production, and most importantly, communication is really the key to climate adaptation. And later on today, you'll hear from some panelists who will be talking about their work doing this type of thing elsewhere in the Southwest. So really through this project, we've focused on expanding to fill the gaps and bridge boundaries between our built environment and our natural landscapes. And in a minute, you'll hear an overview video that we've put together that will really talk about what this whole project is and what those boundaries are, and the challenges that we face here in Southern California with really dense urban environments, major metropolitan areas. I think we have over 25 million people here in Southern California, but we also have vast natural landscapes, rich biodiversity. Many people think of Southern California and they think it's all built, it's all asphalt and concrete, and it's absolutely not. It's a beautiful landscape, as you can see behind me. And there's a lot worth protecting. And the only way that our natural landscapes will be resilient and our communities will be resilient is if we bridge that divide, if we bridge that gap, and we think about how those things are connected and we plan more effectively for that. Some of that's going on, but we wanted to think about it in a more holistic perspective. And so that's where we came to the project, wanting to focus on not only the conservation and conservation goals and how we deal with natural landscapes, but also how we deal with fire and fire risk, how we manage for water sustainability, and how we can connect this all to jurisdictional planning. And you'll hear about the work our planning team has been doing to really help us put this science into practice at local jurisdictions, amongst land managers and planners and conservation practitioners, and really importantly, working on tribal lands and ancestral lands of our tribal partners. That has been a really strong part, because in our wildlands in Southern California, that's where many of our tribal partners live. and wanted to have an important connection there and really understand how to work together to connect Western science with traditional knowledge. And there'll be a whole lot more about that on day 2. Hope you can join us for that. One of the most important things, and one of the things I'm most appreciative about this project and about our support from the California Strategic Growth Council, is their commitment to meaningful engagement. And as I said early on, part of what we're talking about today, part of our focus is all about communication. And it's interesting, you'll hear from different members of our team throughout the day on our panels. We all speak slightly different languages, and you'll hear in our video, we all come from different backgrounds on our research team. I've had to learn different languages. I've had, in terms of the jargon that we use and the technical speak that we use, and had to find ways to make sure that I can communicate with others, but also that I understand what our practitioners are communicating to us, what planners need, and really making that connection so that we can best serve science to advance climate adaptation in our region, and also thinking about that model again, as I mentioned, for the Southwest, for adaptation in general, to be more resilient to climate change. I hope that throughout the day you will join the posting board and communicate with us. We can't see you. I can't see your shining faces as I would if we were in an in-person event, as Amber mentioned in her intro video. So please join that posting board. I actually put a prompt on there to start with. One thing we've talked a lot about with our partners through this project is about resilience and what does that mean in the different sectors where they work. So please go on to the posting board at some point this morning and tell me what resilience means to you. Where are you? I know we've got people from across the Southwest. So where are you located, and what does climate resilience mean to you? And throughout the day, please engage with the panels, our panelists, our team members, and other audience members. So I really encourage you to join there. Today, the SWAF focus is on CWC as a model, as I said, and for applied climate adaptation research that's really focused on building more resilient communities and wildlands in Southern California, we're focusing on the major climate-related issues that we face in the Southwest, as I mentioned. And so that's what you'll be hearing about today. Our panels today, you'll be able to meet our interdisciplinary team members, practitioners. So each of our practitioners represent sort of a different planning background or sector. So we'll have somebody representing those conservation practitioners, jurisdictional planners from local or regional planning organizations, and then, as I mentioned, our tribal partners, which have been a key part of our engagement and partnership throughout this project. And one of the really important things is that we have been interested in the unique perspectives that each person brings to the table. I know what I know, but there's a whole lot else out there to know, to learn, and to advance the way that we can do our work, and to be most responsive to the way each individual does their work, to the way each planning sector does their work, to the way that each local area needs to focus on doing their work. And so it's important that we ask, we listen, and then we work together. And so that's what you'll be hearing about today is how we've been focusing on doing that together. Not only after the fact, now that all the research is done, but we started this whole process by asking people what was most important to them and how could we help with science in service of their climate adaptation work wherever they are. We really want to meet people where they are. So although the CWC project has a focus on ecosystems and communities in Southern California, we know that similar boundary spanning efforts are taking place elsewhere in the Southwest. And so towards the end of the day, we'll be hearing from people doing that great work in other places in the Southwest of our final panel of the day. So be sure to stick around for that. I also encourage you to check out our art walk. There is some fantastic artwork that's been done to interpret the science, to help communicate that more broadly, right? Because not all communication is verbal, and art is such a powerful medium, art and storytelling. Here's some great storytelling from Andrew Pittman, who's developed the video that you're going to watch right after my remarks here, that tell the story of the Connecting Wildlands and Communities project. And then, of course, beautiful artwork by our artists Kim Reeser and Audrey Carver to interpret the work of our team and the research focus of our team. And so we're really excited for you to see those things. You can engage again on the posting board if you have thoughts about that, or you have art that you've done that you'd like to link. or if there's art that someone has, you've had collaboration with artists. If you're a scientist and you've had collaboration with artists, we'd love to see some of that, because that's where we get inspired. That's where we hear the great work through different eyes. We see it through different eyes, and we reach more people by telling it in a different way. You know, early on in the project, there was a question of, will we share our science through peer-reviewed publications? And while certainly that's an important way for me and for my colleagues as scientists to communicate, but that doesn't always reach everybody. And as you'll see, we've put a lot of effort into communicating this project in a lot of different ways. I also encourage you to check out the fantastic work that our Climate Science Alliance colleagues have put into the Connecting Wildlands and Communities project information on the SWOF interface. And I think I have to close here, but I just want to say thank you so much to the Climate Science Alliance team for putting this together, and co-host the Southwest Climate Adaptation Science Center for letting Southern California lead us off on our first day of SWOF. And so excited for you all to be here with us today. Welcome.